What is going on, people of YouTube? My name has to be Kurtyoy, and welcome to a review of Anthony Joshua, AJ himself, versus the, well, I would say reigning champ, but ex-champ now, Charles Martin, Prince Charles Martin, whose ring walk was about as long as the fight lasted, and that's really unfortunate. But this review, you know, I felt like I had a lot to talk about. In Tyson Fury Klitschko, I had a lot to talk about when I did one on AJ and Dillian Whyte. This one was 2 rounds, and Anthony Joshua looks in impeccable form. It is, I feel like, rather than just dilly-dallying, I'm just going to jump straight into it. Overall reaction, Joshua was on point again. You know, despite me, well, I'm always saying, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and he'll constantly go, right, well, come on. You know, let's get ahead of ourselves now. I'm smashing these people out of the ring, with the exception of Dillian Whyte, and I genuinely thought this would be a lot tougher than it was. There's a reason I didn't make a preview video on it, because the only time I made a preview video on something, I got it catastrophically wrong. But my 2 bets that I put on, £5 each, were Joshua in the 8th and Martin in the 12th, and that didn't really happen very well. So there we go. That's why I don't bet on boxing and just stick to football generally, because I'm 180 quid up from the whole week, and I've lost it all by not betting on football. So yeah, and betting on Man City. How are they just beating West Brom 2-1? But anyway, first round comes in. It's a slow starter generally. Joshua lands a few good punches. His right hook was in impeccable form. The knockout punches were extravagant in the second round. But he comes in, and for me, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, right, this is a slow start. He did land a few good punches on Martin, and he took them. And I feel like he didn't do himself any favours, did Martin? He came in, I think he was a bit cocksure, a bit, you know, ahead of himself, a bit too confident, and he got shut down. I've had a bit to drink, and I felt like I had to get a bit of a rap. I don't even know if that's Stormzy. Is that Storm? Oh, that's why I don't try and reference rap, because I don't know anything about rap. But first round ends, I think, right, that's a wake-up call for Martin. He's got to do something, otherwise this is over. My dad had a bet first 2 rounds. He put 8 or 9 quid on and got 34 quid back for any knockout in the first 2 rounds. So not bad, not bad. But goes into the second round thinking, right, Martin here is going to come out. You know, he's learnt, you know, Anthony Joshua, like every other person has that survived a round against Joshua, not to be underestimated. You know, he's got to come out here, you know, put up a guard, you know, and be more careful. There was a lot of times where Martin was charging into punches and just being pegged and pegged and pegged by countless amounts of counters from Joshua. Second round comes in, he doesn't change a single bit. Now, this is what stunned me the most, is that there was no change. You know, and that's what I think, you know, I feel like Martin didn't do himself any favours, and I'll get onto that, you know, a lot of that later. But Dillian Whyte, I think that makes Dillian Whyte deserve a lot more credit about credibility, because as much as, you know, he had a big ruckus, you know, after the bell of the first rounds, he came out, he changed, and he wobbled Joshua. He's the only person to do that now, and I genuinely thought Martin would have him, you know, on the ropes at some points. That's why I thought it was going to be an 8th round knockout. But comes in who doesn't change, and a sweet, sweet right hand for the first knockout. And I thought, I was looking at it, and I was getting, you know, he's kind of like 5, you know, and he's got 6, 7. I'm thinking, he's not getting up. I think the referee, the official, gives him benefit of the doubt first time, because he got up very, very late. He was getting up as 9 was finishing and 10 was being said. And I think, you know, if that was his 2nd or 3rd time on the floor, if he was getting up the time we did in the first knockdown, that would have been counted out. You've got up too late, sorry. Because it was first, let him off, and he didn't learn his lesson from then. Surely being knocked down on the floor, you know, and literally, I don't think he even landed a successful punch, a meaningful punch. You think, right, learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. You can't sit there thinking, right, oh, it's alright, I'm the champ, I'm going to do this. Anthony Joshua, you get pegged by 1 punch, and you're in trouble, because he's a very, very heavy hitter. And he didn't learn. And a few seconds later, got pegged again, and that one was game over. I think, like, when he went down the second time, you sort of saw, right, that's it. That's it, he's over. You know, call this quits. He's gone. and he was gone. He got up late. He sort of complained, but in the end, it looked like he accepted it. And I don't think there's any complaints. You know, he left the count both the times he got knocked down very, very late, and that is, you know, you shouldn't leave it that late. But overall, I think Joshua has proved himself to be, you know, a top quality fighter. You know, he's fighting a world champion and he's wiped them off the ring. Whether he is ready for, you know, a big title fight against Tyson Fury, whether he's ready for David Haye, personally, I think Tyson Fury, get a few more experienced fights in there. You want to, now that he's champ, the IBF champion, world heavyweight champion of the world, I feel like Eddie Hearn, if he's sensible about it, get 1 or 2 fights in at least one fight in against someone in the heavyweight division who's up there, you know, with one of the best, you know, best around, you know, good high-ranked fighter that is known for taking punches, because that will really test Joshua. Because as much as I don't think Fury, yeah, that's the right name, Fury has got a chin, and this is all bearing on if, oh, I'll get there in the end, I've got the hiccups, if Fury beats Klitschko. This is, because that's still not a full conclusion. That is very 50-50. I'm not sure where I stand on that. I stood firmly on Klitschko's side on that one, and now I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm still slightly edging. If I'm sitting on the fence, I'm slightly, you know, moving towards the side of Klitschko, because I feel like he'll learn and he's got the experience to, you know, maybe, you know, do better in the second fight. But Fury, you know, he showed how much of an impeccable fighter he is. And in the regards to Anthony Joshua, well, actually, rather than digressing on to another point, get, you know, someone that is known for taking a punch. You know, that someone that can take a punch and proven to taking a punch. Maybe not the best fighter, but someone to really test Joshua, because at the moment he's coming in and he's knocking these people out. When he comes up against someone that can take a punch and is known for it, then, you know, we can see if what he's really made of. I'm, you know, aboard the hype train now. I think that was enough to show me that, you know, this is something, you know, we can get behind. Before I was all, we need to do this, we need to do this. 3 or 4, you know, 5, 6, probably, you know, when he was still, like, fighting and really early in the undercard, I was like, let's not get aboard the hype train too much, you know, because he's still got a lot to do. So get him up against someone who maybe isn't a hard hitter, but can definitely take a punch. And then if he comes through that, you know, easily, we'll know we've got a real good prospect on our hands. And as far as fighting David Haye, I think both of them aren't ready. David Haye's only just getting back into the ring, and I think a defeat against Joshua could absolutely wreck his chances of fighting for heavyweight titles in the future, with his age and everything. And Anthony Joshua, I think he'll pick him out too much, and he's got such a big future. You don't want to come up again, you know, fighting the likes of David Haye too early, although David Haye hasn't really got much time. He's only got a few years at most to come into it. I still think the David Haye fight and Joshua fight will not happen in the next few fights. I'd be surprised if it did. However, Eddie Hearn mentioned they've got something big planned for July the 9th. Ironically, is the Klitschko Fury rematch, and whether they will get a fight on. People speculating that will not be David Haye's fight. He's fighting sometime in May. That gives him 2 months to prepare for his next fight. Now, if you're young and you're on the undercard and you've come through like, you know, like Nigel Benn's son did, you know, come through, you know, 2 minutes in the ring, barely breaking a sweat, knock the geezer out. You know, that's gonna be sweet. You can do that, but you know, for a fight like this, you know, although David Haye's fighting, you know, real nobody, I feel like definitely. It won't be anyone like it won't be David Haye. Joshua will be fighting if he does fight on July the 9th. But that being said, what is the future for Anthony Joshua? Like I say, get a few more experienced fights in there, then challenge the big dogs. Because I feel like 16 fights, you've got to be careful, because he still hasn't really fought anyone of the world class level. Although I do think he is world class, you've got to fight the other world class teams. You've got to fight the other world class fighters to really establish yourself there. That being said, what are your thoughts on the fight? How good do you think Joshua can be? How good do you think Joshua is? And what does his future hold? Let me know in the comments down below. Like if you like my comment, and then or like my comment on things, and also like if you feel like Joshua has got a great future. Like in general, just like the video, please. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.